Hello viewers, welcome back to the part 2 video of IELTS Writing Module, Academic Writing Task 1. So the part 1 video talked about the planning process of Task 1, and I would recommend that if you guys haven't watched the part 1 video, please do go back and check part 1 video and then come back to this video, because there are going to be some items that are going to be corresponding to part 1 video. So this video we will be talking about the writing segment of Task 1. I'm Tahmid, Alamgir, your tutor for today from Lekhapora Online, and hope you guys find this video helpful. So let's start. First, I'm going to talk about the writing process. So the writing process can be divided into 3 parts. So first you have the introduction, you have the paragraph, and you have the conclusion. So this is in fact an English exam. So all these segments and flows have to be ensured. So first you have the introduction, then you have the paragraph, and then you have the conclusion, and you should maintain that flow. The content of Task 1 must be written with clear and accurate grammar, punctuation, and should make proper sense. So this is an English exam, so you should use proper and accurate grammar, punctuation, and you should use complete, sensible sentences. Direct copying of sentences from the task instructions or graphic headings should be avoided. I'm sorry about that. So as I was saying, direct copying of sentences from the task instruction or graphic headings should be avoided. So what this means is that you're going to have the instruction and the graph headings. So you should avoid directly copying sentences or phrases from there. You should write in your own words or paraphrase it so that you're not directly copying it, because in that way your English sense is not going to be tested. How to write and structure the introduction, paragraphs, and conclusions will be explained in greater details in the upcoming slides. So let's go on with it. So first, we're going to talk about how to write the introduction. So the introduction can be divided into 2 segments. You'll have the topic sentence, and you'll have to make statements about the comparisons that you have made. So remember, in the previous video we make comparisons from the graphs, so you have to make statements about those comparisons to tell the examiner what you are going to be talking about for the graph. So let's start with the topic sentence. So after you are done with planning and you're ready to write, you have to make notes of the task. You have to use the notes that you made for the task and for the graphic type and everything, and use that as a guide to write the topic sentence. So remember, you should take 12 minutes to write the essay, 5 minutes for planning, 12 minutes for writing, and 3 minutes for revising, basically. So the introduction tells what you will write about in Task 1, you are asked to summarize and compare. In your introduction, tell what you will summarize and compare. So remember the task instruction, you have to summarize and jot down the details and basically make comparisons where possible. So in the introduction, you have to tell your examiner what you are summarizing and what you are comparing. So an introduction is a brief sentence of the upcoming paragraph, basically. So whatever you're going to write in the paragraph, you're giving a brief idea of that content in your introduction. So the introduction starts with the topic sentence. So for the first sentence of the introduction, write a topic sentence that summarizes the information in the graph. So in part 1 video, you identified the main features of the graphic and determined the topic. Now you will change those notes into a topic sentence. So remember the things that you jotted down in part 1 video. So you're going to turn those notes and those bullet jots, however you like to basically scrap down your brainstorming, and you're going to turn those into proper sentences. And that's how you're going to write the topic sentence. And the topic sentence will basically summarize the whole information in the graph, and it's going to tell the examiner what you are going to write in the explanation or the comparisons for the graph. So here we have the previous example. Remember the example for the number of servings. So here, remember the notes that you had. Bar graph is the graphic type, and the title is this one. And what was the topic? The topic was basically average daily sales of selected food items in the winter and in the summer. So from this, you have to come up with a topic sentence. So here we have a model topic sentence, and let's read it out for you guys. The bar graph shows how many servings of certain food items were sold on average every day in 2 different seasons at the Vista Cafe. So this topic sentence alone tells you the whole thing about what the graph is about. It gives you the whole picture. How? Let me break it down to you. So the bar graph shows. So here in the first word you have mentioned what type of a graph this is. This is a bar graph. The bar graph shows how many servings from certain food items. So what is it about? Servings of food items and how many servings were sold on average. So here they tell you what the graph is about. And in 2 different seasons at the Vista Cafe. So the comparison in 2 different seasons. Here you have mentioned your comparison and you have mentioned the name of the cafe, the Vista Cafe. So the topic sentence have given you everything. So this topic sentence mentions the main features of the graph. It avoids copying direct phrases or sentences from the instruction. It gives you the whole idea of the graph and tells you what the graph is about. And by reading this, the examiner knows that you have understood what the graph is telling you. So now we look at another example. Remember the example for cell phone subscribers of Marysville? We look at that example. So these were the notes that we have made in part 1 video. So the graphic type is a line graph. The title is cell phone subscribers of Marysville, and here you have the topic, the number of men and women cell phone subscribers in Marysville from 1995 to 2015. So here the model topic sentence. The graph shows how many men and women in Marysville paid for cell phone services from 1995 to 2015. So the topic sentence here gives you the main features, what the graph is about. It avoids copying direct phrases or sentences from the instruction, and it basically tells the examiner that you have understood the graph, and it gives you the whole general picture of the graph and what you are going to talk about. So here are a couple of tips that I would like to give you. So being able to identify synonyms is vital during the exam. So remember how I said that do not copy direct sentences or do not copy direct phrases from the task. But you might think that, okay, the task instruction is all I have. It tells what the graph is about and everything. So if I don't write anything related to that, then how can I write in my own words? So for that, you have to have a good synonym vocabulary. So you have to be able to come up with a synonym word of a particular word instantly during the exam. So here, based on the previous example, we have given a couple of basically words, and here are the synonyms for those words. So this I won't solve for each of them. You can do it. You just pause the video and you try to figure it out. So I'll do a couple of them for you. So here are the words or phrases for which you have to find the synonym, and here are the examples of the synonyms. So obviously during the exam, you won't be given a list of the words, but this is just sort of a brainstorming exercise that's gonna help your brain think. So once you are in the exam scenario, once you read a word and you're trying to find a different word for that, it's gonna come to you instantly. So here we have construct. So what can be a proper synonym for construct? It's build, because construct means to make something, build means to make something. Region, so region. So what can be a good synonym for a region? Area, because region means a particular area or a particular territory. So area is a good synonym. So you can do the rest just pause the video and do it for, it's going to take you 1 minute. It's going to be a good activity for your brain. And so this is another task for you to do, and this relates to the previous page. So remember the synonyms that we have given you. So you can basically, what you have to do is, here you have a couple of sentences. The graph shows the number of schools constructed in each region of the country in 2014. So what you have to do is, you have to paraphrase this sentence. You have to, you have to write the sentence without changing the meaning, without changing the tone, without changing the facts. You have to write the same sentence but in different wording. So how can we do that? So here it said the graph shows the number of schools constructed in each region of the country in 2014. So how can you write it in a different way? Let me do the first one for you. Here you can write the graph shows, in place of the number of, you can say different schools. The graph shows different schools built. Remember in our previous example, constructed, built in each area instead of region of the country in 2014. Instead of country, you can also write nation. So see, it's very easy. So you can do the rest. Just pause the video and do the rest in a piece of paper or just orally, and this is actually going to help your brain to think on the point. So once we are done with the topic sentence, we have to make a statement about the comparisons. So the first sentence of your introduction is the topic sentence. The topic sentence tells you what the graph is about. The next sentence will tell you what comparisons you will make. In part 1 video, you made notes about comparisons. So the notes that you made in comparisons, those are just notes. So now you have to turn them into writing format. So you can't just be like that, cold coffee had this much sale in summer, whereas cold coffee had this much sale in winter. You can't say that. It's just out of context. So you have to come up with a statement about the comparisons that's going to tell the examiner that what are the things that you are comparing between. So now you'll turn those notes into sentences and tell what comparisons you will make in your essay. So here we have an example, the summer-winter one. So remember, you made 2 comparisons, the average daily sales of selected food items in the winter and in the summer. So the topic sentence is the same as the previous one. Now, what can be the second sentence or the statement for the comparison? So here we have a model statement. The average number of sales of each item changed with the season. So here, it directly tells you what you are comparing in this graph. So you are comparing the average number of sales of each food items for different season, which is winter and summer. So this simple line tells you what your comparisons are about. So in the next example, so similarly, the number of men cell phone subscribers and the number of women cell phone subscribers in different years. So here we have the topic sentence just like the previous one, and the second sentence that we can have is the number of subscribers of each gender rose at similar rates during the 10-year period. So from 1995 to 2015, you have a period of 10 years. And here, the second sentence is telling you that, as you can see, the men and women lines are very close. You see, it's very close. So here, you are in fact making a comparison, but here, what sort of an insight can you give? So the number of subscribers of each gender rose at a similar rate over the 10-year period. So this is a probable second sentence or a statement about the comparisons that you can have. Obviously, it's subject to changes. You can write it in a different way, but this is just how we are telling you you can write so that it explains what you are comparing about. So now we go on to writing the paragraph. So we are done with the introduction. That's it, topic sentence. and the second sentence tells you what the graph is about, tells the examiner what the graph is about, what you're writing about, and tells the examiner what are the comparisons that you're making. That's it. Now we go to the paragraph. So when you planned your essay, you made notes about comparisons and details. Now you will turn these notes into paragraphs for the body of your essay. Remember the two comparisons for each of the graph, and you jotted down details under each of those comparisons. So now you're going to turn those details into your paragraph. You will write one paragraph about each comparison. Begin each paragraph with the main idea that summarizes the comparison you're making. Okay, so now I'll talk about how you should start your paragraph. So just to remind you, you're going to have two paragraphs, one for each comparison. So this is for paragraph 1, for the comparison 1 that you have made. So remember the average daily sales of selected food items in winter. So this is for that comparison. So you have to start your paragraph with the main idea. The main idea is going to tell you what the rest of the paragraph is going to be about. So here we have a couple of examples of the main idea. So let's read this out. Certain food items had much higher sales than others in the winter. People bought different food items at the Vista Cafe. Iced coffee had the lowest number of winter sales. So out of these sentences, statement A is the best main idea for the paragraph because it is a general statement about the whole graph. Certain food items had much higher sales than others in the winter. Now the statement B is too general because it just says people bought different food items at the Vista Cafe. Yeah, that's obvious from the graph. You have different food items, but it doesn't give you a specific insight. So that's why statement A is the best, and statement C is very specific. It just talks about iced coffee. You're not just going to talk about iced coffee in the rest of your paragraph. So this is not a good main idea. Let's look at the next one. So this is for comparison 2 for summer. So here we have here we also have 3 options. Let's look at that. People bought both hot and iced coffee. The sales number for each food item were different in the summer than they were in the winter. Ice cream sales went up in the winter. So out of these, it's very obvious. Statement B is the best main idea because it tells you how the comparisons that you will make in summer is different from the ones that you made in winter. Because each food item sales is different in summer than they were in winter. Statement A and B are too specific. They either only talk about coffee or ice cream, and your paragraph is not just gonna talk about coffee or ice cream. So that's why statement B is the best one. So now we look at the cell phone subscribers examples, excuse me. So here we also have a couple of examples. As you can see, cell phone subscribers for men were higher in 2000 than they were in 1995. For B, you have the number of men subscribers remained the same between 2005 and 2010. The number of men cell phone subscribers rose significantly between 1995 and 2015. So, out of all these sentences, C is the best one. Why? Because it gives you a general idea of the whole data set. So this is about men. So here it says the number of men cell phone subscribers rose significantly between 1995 to 2000. So that's why this gives you a more general idea. A and B are too specific. Similarly, for the woman comparison, we have cell phone subscription for women went up. But like went up when? Like what? So it's too vague. The number of women subscribing to cell phone services rose in most recent years between 1995 and 2015. And the C, the number of women subscribers went down between 2005 and 2010. So C it just talks about a short period, 2005 and 2010. But in the paragraph, you're going to talk about the whole period. So C is not an appropriate main idea for the paragraph. So that's why B is more effective because it talks about the whole time period. So now, once you have written the main idea, you're going to move to the supporting details. So use your notes about details to write statements that support the main idea. So remember the four details that you have noted down for each of the comparisons. You're going to turn them into a paragraph for each of the comparisons, and those are going to support the main idea, the first sentence of each paragraph. So here we have an example. So remember the details that you have mentioned, and here you have the main idea. So this is for winter. Here this is your main idea, and here these are the details that you have jotted down. So considering all these, let's just read through this paragraph. Remember, this is the first sentence, so let's read from here. Certain food items had much higher sales than others in the winter. This is your main idea. Gives you a general idea of the winter comparison. Hot coffee had the highest number of sales with an average of 75 servings sold daily. Here you have picked your first detail. The item with the second highest number of sales were soup with an average of 50 servings sold daily. Here you have used the second one. See how they have joined the sentences? They are not like, we did not just pick sentence after sentence. We are making sure that the sentences fit with each other with proper punctuations. Now, next one is salad and ice cream had average daily sales of 25 servings each, and iced coffee had the lowest number of sales with close to 0 servings sold daily. This paragraph is very concise, and you have to be concise because you only have around 150 to 160 words. And if you're planning to write more than that, in that case you won't be able to finish within 20 minutes. So which is why it's concise, it's to the point, but it's well written with proper punctuation, with proper grammar, consisting of all the details that you have to mention. Here you can look at the example for summer. I'm not going to read this out for you. You can read it in your own time. You can pause the video and go through it and check how they have fit one sentence with another and how they have basically constructed proper seamless sentences. So here, for the next example, we have the men's cell phone subscribers. So here you have the details. So let's read this out. The number of male cell phone subscribers rose significantly between 1995 and 2015. In 1995, a little over 500 men subscribed to cell phone services. Women also subscribed to the services at the same time. The number increased considerably over the next few years until it reached 2,500 in the year 2005. So you see, the sentences consist of all the details, exact facts and figures. You have to make sure the facts and figures that you take from the graph is accurate, and you have to make sure that the sentences sit well with one another. I'm sorry for the dog sounds. So so as I was saying, you have to make sure that the sentences fit well, they are sensible, and you have to use proper grammar, proper punctuation. And that's how you can write a good quality writing. For the woman comparison, here we have a model answer as well. You can read it by pausing the video, and you see how they have simply jotted down the details into such a seamless manner that it seems like a proper, well-structured paragraph. So this is what I wanted to explain to you guys. Once you have the planning done well, the writing bit, this is just going to take you 5 minutes, at max 7 minutes. You can easily finish this within 4 to 5 minutes because you have everything here. You just have to make some. You just have to basically find some wordings, some conjunctions, and make it seamless and nice. And that's how you write a good quality paragraph. So, a couple of pointers for writing the supporting details is, when you're explaining graphs, you'll have ups and downs, little change, slight change, or more change. So these are some of the synonym words or adjectives that you can use, and adverbs that you can use to sound correct grammatically. And remember, you can't just use increased significant. that's grammatically incorrect. You have to use increased significantly or increased slightly. So here you also have the similar adverbs. So you can go through this and have like a general idea of how you should be writing it to make the whole paragraph seem seamless and well fit. So now we have come to the conclusion, how to write the conclusion. So in conclusion, you sum up the ideas you developed in your essay. So whatever you have written in the in the paragraph, in the introduction. So the introduction tells you what you are going to write in the body, basically what the graph is about. And in the conclusion, you're going to sum up the ideas that you have mentioned till now. So for example here, as you can see, this is the introduction that we came up with for this example, and here we have the conclusion. So let's read out the conclusion. In general, the average daily sales of each food item changed depending on the season. You're giving a general idea of what you have written till now. So depending on the season, the food item sales changed. So that's what you have mentioned here. In general, the average daily sales of each food item changed depending on the season. Certain items were more popular in the winter and certain items were more popular in the summer. With this, you just, like, it's simple as that. You have mentioned what were more popular in summer, what were more popular in winter. You have mentioned the sales figures and everything. So in conclusion, you're just mentioning what you have mentioned previously, that they vary with season, and some of them are more popular in winter and some of them are more popular in the summer. It's as simple as that. Similarly here, you can look at the conclusion. Overall, while the number of both male and female subscribers rose significantly, they rose more for men. This gives you a complete picture of the graph. Both of them rose significantly from 1995 to 2015. They rose significantly from 500 to, you see, almost 3,000. So rose significantly, but the male rose greater than the female. So this sums up the whole idea, and that's what the conclusion is about. So some of the takeaway points. The writing of task 1 should be divided into introduction, paragraph or body, and conclusion. The introduction must start with a topic sentence and make a statement about the comparisons that you would be talking about in the paragraph. The paragraph should be about the individual comparisons along with the supporting details. So you're going to have one paragraph for each comparisons that you made, and you're going to support those main ideas of the paragraphs with the supporting details. The conclusion paragraph should sum up the ideas and points made in the paragraph. So the conclusion should sum up the ideas and points that you have mentioned in your paragraph. So with this, I have reached the end of my slides. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did enjoy this video and found it helpful, please do like, subscribe, and share our channel. And we're going to be coming up with more tutorials like these, and do check our part 3 video for the IELTS Writing Task 1 segment, which is going to explain the revision process. Once you have written it, once you have planned it, once you have written it, how do you revise to make sure that you haven't missed out any points, you haven't made any mistakes or silly mistakes, because a lot of people make silly mistakes due to the time crunch. So this is how we're going to ensure that you are completely prepared for the exam. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you.